Well, hello there. Okay, are there any breakfast fans out there? Now, maybe you like breakfast, but what about breakfast for supper? Is there anybody else out there like us who love to have breakfast pretty much any time of the day, early in the morning, brunch time, supper time? We love breakfast. And so that's what I'm gonna do for tonight. It is a rustic sausage, egg, and cheese farmer's breakfast. And I say farmers because it'll fill you up and keep you full till you go to bed. And if you have it for breakfast, it'll keep you full all day probably. It's really simple and easy, very few ingredients, great when you're cooking for two. So I'm really excited to share this with you. Before we get into the recipe, I have to remind you, if you're not following me on YouTube, be sure and go to YouTube, subscribe to my channel, make sure you hit the bell so every time I put out a new video, you're gonna be notified. I try to do that at least once a week. And also, make sure that you go to my website, cookitfor2.com. That's cookitfor2.com. Go over there, you can check out all of my recipes, download them if you would like to save some. I have a new cookbook that's over there, my very first cookbook, and we're working on some really exciting things that we will be adding in the shop area. So make sure that you go over there and check that out. You also can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And please, I'm just gonna ask you, if you like anything that you see, comment on it. Hit the like button, hit the heart button, hit the share button. All of those things help my business, and it also helps me to know what you like. So, give me your opinion. Let me know. Put it in the comments of this video if you love breakfast for supper, and what do you usually eat? Okay, now let's get to cooking. Oh.
But be nice.
Yes, please be nice. That was Mosley and Kyle. I'll let you figure out which is which. Okay, so like I said, this is a farmer's breakfast. So what we're gonna do is we're going to start with sausage. Now, we like turkey sausage, and so that's what I'm gonna be using. You always want to spice it up a little bit if you're gonna go with the turkey sausage. A lot of people complain that turkey sausage is kind of bland, but all you have to do is add some salt and pepper, some cayenne pepper maybe, some coriander, sage maybe. A lot of people like sage in their sausage. So just spice it up a little bit and it is delicious. But if you don't like that, then just feel free to use whatever your favorite sausage is. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get my burner going. Now I like to cook this in my cast iron skillet, but if you don't have a cast iron skillet, then you just cook it in your favorite skillet. Okay, I think my skillet is good and hot, so now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add in our sausage. We're gonna let that brown up. While our sausage is cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and chop up some onion. We're gonna use probably about 1/4 to 1/2 of a cup of onion. We are onion lovers. We love it, so I'm gonna probably go closer to 1/2 of a cup. But if you're not a fan, you can stick with 1/4 of a cup, or you don't have to put any. We're just gonna kind of do a chop here. I think that probably looks about 1/2 of a cup. If you have watched me long, you know I'm not a big measurer. It's not that big of a deal when you're cooking. Sometimes it is. Now when you're baking, that's a whole different subject, and you have to be precise when you're baking. But when cooking, that's kind of why I kind of prefer the cooking, because you have a little bit more freedom. You can, add a little bit more, take away some, and usually you're gonna turn out fine. Before I use this, I just want to say to everyone, if you do not have one of these, you need to get one of these. I think it's called a mix and chop from Pampered Chef. There went Mosley. He's crazy tonight in the kitchen, hitting the camera stand. But anyways, this is wonderful for hamburger meat, for sausage. You can see how easy this breaks up that sausage. Just like when you're doing hamburger meat, it really breaks it up and it just makes it into this good crumble. That's kind of what I like to call it. It's not tiny pieces, but it's not large chunks either. It's a really good crumble. Okay, while our sausage is finishing cooking, I have 6 eggs that I'm going to go ahead and get mixed in this bowl. Now, you could cut this recipe in half. Yes, we're cooking for 2, but you know me, we love leftovers, and if I'm going to go to the trouble of cooking, I like to have some left. I am doing the 6 eggs tonight, and then I'm going to take some cream, and I'm going to add the cream into the eggs. This is going to make them so rich and delicious. And we're also going to add some salt and some pepper. And then I'm going to throw in a little bit of tarragon. I love this spice. A lot of people haven't heard of it much. They're not familiar with it. Don't use it that often, but I love it. It just has this really fresh taste to it that really pairs well with eggs. It pairs well with a lot of things. But let me give my sausage a stir here. But it really does well in this situation with the eggs and the sausage. It's going to be delicious. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our whisk and we're going to break our eggs up. And you know, you really kind of want to do this vigorously because you want to get air whipped into those eggs. Anytime you're going to be working with scrambled eggs, you want them to be light and fluffy. And what makes them light and fluffy is when you get air into the mixture. And we're not going to use them just this minute. So we're going to let them sit, and we will do that again before we actually put them in our skillet. Okay, our sausage is all done, and I'm going to take it out of the skillet because I want to keep using this same skillet. So I'm going to take the sausage out, let it kind of hang out for a minute. You want to cook your sausage until it's not pink anymore, okay? Don't overcook it. Watch it close. As soon as it's not pink, go ahead and turn the heat off. But I had to show you this. I think this is kind of vintage now, maybe. I don't know, but I love to be able to share things with you that were my mom's. And this is something that was in my mom's kitchen as long as I can remember. And my nanny actually had one too. But this is wonderful. Okay, the lid comes off. And then, as you can see, now this is stained, but it's clean. This is what you actually put the meat in. You see the holes. And then if there's any kind of grease, or juice, it will drain into this bottom part. So it keeps your meat separate from the juice or, the grease. So I just wanted to share this with you because it always just makes my heart smile when I can pull something out of my cabinets like this that, oh my gosh, it just takes me back to my mom cooking. I wanted to share that with you. So that's what we're gonna do right now. The good thing about turkey sausage is usually you don't have much grease in there, but we're gonna go ahead and drain or transfer our sausage into this, and we will put the lid on it, and we are going to just keep this by the side and let it rest while we finish. We've got our sausage resting. We are going to add a little bit of butter, about a tablespoon or so, to our cast iron skillet or whatever skillet you're using. And then we are going to add in our onion that I already chopped up. I'm going to add that in. And we're going to add in some cubed hash brown potatoes. Now, if you don't have these and you have everything else, you don't want to have to get any, no problem. All you have to do is just cut up your potatoes into small cubes, and you want to parboil them. And what that means is you're just going to bring them to a boil, let them boil just for about 4 minutes or so. drain them very well, and then you can just use them just like these frozen ones. You can put them right into your pan with your onion and your butter, and they'll be done on time. That's why you have to do that, because these are frozen, and so they're gonna cook up pretty quick. If you just throw a raw potato in there, it's gonna take too long to cook. So just remember that if you don't want to get the frozen ones. You can just use regular potatoes. Okay, the potatoes and onion are just about ready. So I'm gonna go ahead, I just have some cheddar cheese, and we're gonna want about a cup, or you know, if you want a little bit more. I'm not gonna be the cheese police. So, but you need probably at least a cup, a good cup to go on top, because we are just about ready to put our egg mixture and our sausage back in here on our potatoes. Ooh, I think I have a little bit more than a cup there. Probably.
I'll take care of it.
I think you probably might want to eat that, do you? As you can see, the potatoes are almost done. Let's add our sausage back in there first. Pour that into the skillet. Now, remember what I said about the eggs. We want to make sure that we whip that air in there before we add them into this mixture. I love this recipe because it's so easy. You just get to pour everything into this one skillet. All right, so here we go. We're going to add our egg mixture into our potatoes and sausage, and then I'm going to give this a stir, and then you want to just let this, you know, kind of cook a little slow until the eggs are set. Brace yourself. Hope you're sitting down when you look at this. Woo! Oh my goodness gracious. Does that look delicious or what? All right, now we're gonna start putting it on our plates. Look how beautiful that looks. Oh my goodness. Woo, that is so pretty. Okay, now we're gonna add our little fruit bowl to it, and there is our supper. Well, I think it's getting close to 6:30, maybe 7 o'clock, and we're gonna have breakfast. But we love it, and as you saw for yourself, it is going to be delicious. Again, I wish you could pull up a chair and you could eat with us. That would be so cool. I hope that in the video you saw something that maybe you didn't know before, you learned something new, or it inspired you to, maybe you haven't ever had breakfast for supper. It inspired you to try something new, try something different, spice up your meals, even if you're cooking for two, just like we are. Lord bless you. I just wanted to show you, this is totally optional, okay? If you don't want to do this, don't do it. But I made a little fruit salad that I'm gonna serve with, you know, on the side with this skillet. And I love fruit with eggs, you know, omelets. It's so good. Kyle is croaking back there, but I do. And sometimes I have to be creative with the fruit to get him to eat it. So that's kind of what we're doing. You can see here I already have some melon, and this is a golden melon, which was awesome. Like, oh my goodness, it was yellow instead of green, you know, on the outside, and it is so sweet. And then I have some cantaloupe that I've cut up. I put in some red grapes because we are not green grape fans, and some of it's leaving. I put in some blueberries. Okay, I'm gonna add a few mandarin oranges. Kyle will not eat a regular orange, but he loves mandarin oranges. So I'm gonna add in a few of those. I'm not adding all these because I don't want to, you know, scare him. Okay, now, well, I may need to add some more if he's going to keep eating them. Now, the other thing that I did was, again, totally optional. If you want to just kind of spruce up your fruit salad a little bit and make it really pretty and, you know, kind of like shiny, Then I made this little glaze. It's really simple. It is orange juice and some sugar and some cornstarch, and that's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put just a little bit on here. It does not take much, and that's all personal preference too. You might want to pour that whole little pitcher in there, but I'm just going to put enough on there to give it a little bit of a punch of taste and flavor. And you can see already how much shinier the fruit is. I mean, it really does like make it look almost not real and glossy. That's what I love about that glaze. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. Oh my goodness. Okay, and this is our fruit salad, and I'm going to serve this alongside our egg dish.